See me? Can you hear me? It shows that we're live. Hello from Texas. Can't wait to visit with you. Hello from, wow, from Poland, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, Macon, Georgia. Okay, this is like too fun here. I got to just see. I got to see who's representing. Who else is here? This is just so fun. Now I'm doing this a little bit at a disadvantage today because Leah is home with COVID and she is kind of out of pocket today. So I'm navigating some of this stuff on my own. Ohio, Arkansas, Ontario, Canada. This is so fun. And I was talking to Stuart about this. I'm surprised anybody is here today because if it is absolutely as glorious where you are as it is where I am, then shame on all of us for being inside when we should be outside, because it is just beautiful out. I went out there and I just fed my roses. Mid-September is kind of the last time I like to give my roses a dose of rose tone, Espoma rose tone. And I just did that. And while I was out there, I told my husband, I said, oh my gosh, I need like a flight controller out there because it is just a wonderland of pollinators. There are so many butterflies. The monarchs arrived really late this year. So did the swallowtails. I just saw, if you guys know, tell me, what is the huge yellow butterfly? I don't get those very often, and I'm not sure what it is. But there are so many bees, so many moths. It's just, like I say, I feel like I'm on a flight deck, but it is so fun. Wow, Carolina, hello from Chile. Wow. Okay. Princeton, New Jersey. It is 47 in Michigan, in Alpena, Mission. Well, this is so fun, you guys. Monroe, New York. So this, like I say, this is just great. And if you have any questions, please just put it up there. And Stuart will show me, he's going to figure out how to show me some of the comments and questions on the screen, and I will try to answer them. Let me just give you a little bit of an idea, though, of what I have been doing. And I just saw Hubs pull up, so he'll probably come clanking in the door here in a minute. But what I've been doing on this sabbatical is just, I would say, a major reassessment. Review, reassessment. I needed some downtime. It's been, as you guys often experience, man, has it been busy over the past couple of years. And so I needed just to take a little sabbatical so I could regroup and decide what was important to me and what wasn't. It was also a really revelatory time because I went to 3 funerals during this period of time. So if that doesn't make you think, I don't know what does. So, so that's kind of where I'm going with that. So let's see here. Is there anything we should be fertilizing now besides the roses? Well, I would say, Trish, the gardener, that kind of depends where you live. So for me, I've still got a long growing season. And while it's absolutely beautiful this week and the highs are in the 80s, next week, it's going to be back up in the 90s. So the reason I mention that is because I've got a long growing season ahead. And I really, and in fact, as soon as it starts getting cooler, that's when my perennials and my annuals start performing at their best, just as I'm getting ready to pumpkinize and put out all of my autumnal display. So I go ahead and I really fertilize quite a bit. There's Hubs right now. Do you want to say hello, Hubs? Hubs has been fishing on the Salmon River. Say hello. They can only see. Bend down. There you go. He's been fishing on the Salmon River in Idaho.
Middle fork of the Salmon.
The middle fork of the Salmon River. Excuse me. Ooh, Virginia. Denise from Georgia. But yeah, somebody said my yard is almost much prettier in the fall, and it's because it cools down. So the answer to that question is yes, I would go ahead and I would fertilize now. And then I would, depending again on your zone, just Google the question, when should I quit fertilizing in my zone? But for me, I really want stuff to, as we start getting some of those fall rains, I really want that fertilizer to kick in. Will I be doing anything like you did last year for a Christmas home tour? Please say yes. I'll probably be doing and do you mean real life? Real life, probably not. But I'll definitely do a video tour of all of my decorations. In fact, that's one thing you guys have to look forward to, because it's going to be home tour extravaganza this year. So my neighborhood, the neighborhood right next to mine, Heritage Hills, another historic old neighborhood to the east of us, they're all having home tours, and I'm trying to get the word out about those home tours. And I will also be videoing a lot of those homes. They're going to be across the entire spectrum. Some will be old, some will be new, some will be modern, some, anyhow, the spectrum of decor will really be all across a continuum. So I think that will be really fun. Did I get any rest on my sabbatical, Kathy? I did, but I'm not going to say I didn't work a lot. I had a book deadline to meet, and I think I did. And this is going to be a completely different kind of concept than I've worked on before. So I was able to get that in. I was able to do some planning. I was able to get a little, I don't know, perspective, if that makes any sense, some perspective. And there are going to be some changes coming to the channel. Some I'm excited about, some I'm kind of sad about, but that is, that's just life. Linda, you purchased me to purchase a heavy candle holder and plant little clay pots on the centerpiece on my deck. I planted lemon coral sedum and keep it trimmed into balls, sort of. Ooh, that sounds absolutely charming. I just redid my picnic table in the back. Linda, you inspired me. Okay, you just put that up. One other thing that I was also able to do over my sabbatical is I entertained more. I had people over for dinner. I had people who would just stop by. I had lots of visitors, both tourist type visitors and just people in my neighborhood. I had tons and tons of kiddos who would come by right before school started and then right after school started. We had a ladybug release party. Neighborhood kids have come by, like when the older sibling had gone to school and the younger sibling was still at home and mom was kind of at a loss of what to do with them. They came over to see Miss Linda. And that was just so many fun. Do I have anything special planned for Halloween decorating this year? Actually, I do. And this is a concept, probably it's going to come up in one of my newsletters, and it's going to be, and you can anticipate me having more just one-on-one conversations with you. I had a lovely group of women who came down from Wichita this past week to visit. They were just absolutely lovely. And they told me that some of the videos that they liked in the past were those where I would talk about getting older, and getting older in a stylish way, in a healthy way. So I'm going to be talking more about those topics. But another kind of nanu concept that I have been deliberating on in my own head is the distinction between somebody who likes difference but doesn't necessarily like change. And your head's probably spinning right now. But that's what I've been cogitating on this week, because I'm somebody who likes difference, but doesn't necessarily like change. And so I'm working on that. Am I still going to have a second channel, Paula? Yes, I am. And we are hoping for, if this channel resumes September 15th, then that channel I am hoping to begin on October 1st. And we've already done one of the things that we are going to incorporate in that and basically the whole premise of that is a concept that I'm thinking of as style versus substance, or on style and substance. So it's going to be more of a deep dive into style, not necessarily garden related, but more personal style, beauty, healthy aging, wellness, trying to be chic. And then the substance part is going to be deep dive interviews that I have with people of all ages about how they navigate change and transitions in their lives. Because I think right now, one thing that I know I need for sure, and that I think many of you need, and that is regardless of what you're going through in your life, whether you're putting your parents into assisted living, whether you are an empty nester for the first time, your kindergartner just started, your mom just died, all of these things require that we develop some coping skills and a support network to help us deal with those changes in a way that is with grace and equanimity. And so I'm going to be doing lots of interviews with very interesting people on how they do that. So that's kind of the style meets substance. I can't wait to get started. We've already shot some of our first interviews, and that will begin October 1st. Does my urban neighborhood have any deer pressure? I'm really struggling. Anyone else? I do not have deer pressure, and I know so many of you do, and you have my sympathies because I know just how difficult that can be. Now here, what I have is squirrel pressure. I didn't have it much last year, but I noticed that this year, now that I have a lot more going on here, I'm starting to have more squirrel pressure. If any of you have really great deer solutions, would you please let Judy know? It's one of the reasons that I like for all of you guys to comment on my YouTube. And by the way, this will go up as a video on YouTube on Monday. So even then, when it's not live anymore, go back and check the comments because you'll get valuable information. Miss you, Linda. So glad you had time off. Hub's enjoying this house more than the other. I would say yes. I would say yes, he is. Partly because he can just be gone more. And I need him to be gone more because this house is a little bit smaller, but also I'm working more. And as you guys know, my workplace is pretty much my home. But is he enjoying the neighborhood more? I asked him that question just the other day, and I would say absolutely yes. Because, well, I'll give you an example. There was something on Instagram the other day that said that like the 10 best patios, outdoor dining patios in Oklahoma City or in this area or something. And I am within walking distance of 8 of them. And so for us, it's just, oh, where should we walk to today? Where should we go today as something fun? Who's having a farmer's market today? My friend Jen at Bricks just told me that every Monday or every first Friday, there's a wonderful place called 30th Street Market in my area, again, within walkable distance, that has a really fun market with not just produce and stuff, but all sorts of other things, artsy things. It's just very active. Oh, something else I did like yesterday. And this is a fun thing I did on my sabbatical. I walked downtown and I went to the Edith Head Museum or Edith Head exhibit at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art. It's going to be there till September 29th. And if you haven't been there, oh my gosh, you need to go. So I went, I got some inspiration. If you don't know who she is, Google her. She was a Oscar-winning, Emmy award-winning costume designer. And so I went to see that exhibit, and then I walked a different way home, and I stopped at a brand new restaurant that I hadn't been in, and I visited with them, and we're probably going to be shooting some stuff there. It was just wonderful. And anyhow, I was able to do those kind of things. I don't often have a lot of time to do those, and I'm starting to try to make it a priority to do those kind of things. Rosalie asks, new hairstyle. Are you using your pink flat iron? Love your videos. Yes, I am using my pink flat iron, and my hairstyle is a little bit different but it's not a huge change. So if that gives you an idea of kind of my making a distinction between difference and change, there you go. So it's a little bit different. Best Sunday to you from Olympia, Washington. Do you have recommendations for rabbit problems? Um, Here's one recommendation. I have not had, at my other house, I had absolutely no rabbit pressure whatsoever. Here, I do have some. And my solution to that here to date is that I have neighborhood cats that are outdoor cats. They're very sweet. And they also kind of patrol my garden, and I think they kind of keep the rabbits away. But maybe we should do, Stuart, if you're listening, maybe we should do a video, even though I don't have those problems. Maybe we should talk to some experts who know about deer pressure and rabbit pressure. I am going to be doing a garden tour and visiting with my friend Dee Nash, who is one of the most knowledgeable gardeners I know. She puts me to shame. And she probably could address that subject in addition to some other kind of scary pest problems that some of us are encountering now, namely mosquitoes and tick problems, and the very, very dangerous repercussions oftentimes of getting bitten by a mosquito or a tick. So that may be something that we need to do that. Hi from Northern Michigan. Have you ever been to Mackinac Island? The gardens are beautiful. I can't believe I have not. I have not, and I need to go. And if I go, I probably need to shoot some video. My sister in Indiana, she goes all of the time. My husband has been there several times because he used to travel to Holland, Michigan for work a lot. And so definitely I need to get there. Did I get a new blue sofa? It appears to be different. No, I didn't. It's just in a different place. And I just kind of move some things around. And here is something that I will share. I'm going to be doing more really quick and swift fall decor changes that we can all make that don't cost anything, but that we can make to kind of give us a seasonal attitude adjustment. And I think that will be fun. Yeah, Dorothy says the Edith Head exhibit was fabulous. It really was. And Dorothy, did you notice how many times throughout the exhibit it would comment on Edith Head's signature style? Stuart, if you can find a picture of Edith Head, maybe you can put it up on the screen. Maybe you can Google it and put it up on the screen. She had very severe short bangs, and she would wear dark glasses, pretty much all the time, even indoors, because when she first started out in her career, it helped her distinguish textures and such, because when she first started out in her career, it was all in black and white. And so she would wear dark glasses, so it would help her kind of maybe simulate what it was like to see something in black and white. And then she just kept doing it for years. Anyhow, see her, she's very interesting. Have I got a slug problem where you live? I have a little bit of a slug problem. What I'm having this year is a big old grasshopper problem. I like Sluggo. It is a pelletized version of iron phosphate, and you just need to put it out fairly regularly and fairly early in the season. It says that it's safe for pets. It is a form of organic control, but I have found it to be very effective. But again, you do have to be consistent about it. And I think that is the secret to any kind of pest control, is consistency. Someone told me here, I think, about milky spore, and I'm going to be putting that out this fall. But regardless of what you use as a slug control, whether it's little traps with beer in it or whatever, you need to do it consistently. Why did you decide to do your first YouTube video? Why did I decide? Or when did I decide? I'm not sure. You mean my very first one many, many years ago? Okay, so the reason I decided to do my very first YouTube video was partly because my Instagram account got hacked, and that was my primary platform. And then for a number of different reasons, partly COVID, I started doing more and more YouTube. And then I found it to be such a good community. I just loved it. And I'm starting to do more and more about that, or more and more engagement in that, not just in tutorial kinds of way, but in real meaningful kinds of ways. And then this time I started to do the first one for this season on September 15th, because by then the majority of the heat will have dissipated. And September 15th to me has always seemed like a new, like fall is the second spring. And I kind of feel like that's the beginning of fall for me, even if it's still hot. And that's also typically when pumpkins and stuff start appearing. What am I doing about the squirrels? So some of you know that I am just a huge fan of gravel. And last year, I didn't have too much of a squirrel problem here at the cottage. But this year, probably because of the trees and things, I do. So this year, because of that, instead of mulching a lot of things with gravel, I was mulching them with other things, just that Happy Grow conditioner, soil conditioner. I was just mulching it with moss, pretty things. But now I have discovered when I go out there, my topiaries they're being attacked by squirrels. The ones that have been mulched in gravel, not a problem. So I'm going back to the gravel. I am really trying. I'm being very careful about how I put out bird seed and in what forms. I made the mistake of putting some out and it attracted them, and I don't like that. And I'm going to redo something along those lines. I'm yelling at Hubs because he's got one squirrel that he kind of likes. And don't you, Hubs?
Yeah, I'm leaving.
He's leaving, and he's got one kind of squirrel that he kind of likes, and he watches. And I have nothing wrong with that if the squirrel isn't doing damage, but you know how that goes. It would be fun to see you and Laura from Garden Answer do a video together. Have you ever watched her channel? Oh yes, Laura and I have consulted on many different things. Long ago, I did some things on her channel about topiary. She actually kind of reposted some stuff I did here in Oklahoma after a terrible ice storm. And she is just as wonderful in real life, at least on the phone, as she is on camera. And her husband is just wonderful as well. So I don't have anything in the works right now, but who knows? You never know. Linda has a different approach from Garden Answer. She can do her own thing. I would say as a distinction, Laura's at a different whole place in her garden journey than I am. And she still is really expanding and getting much bigger. And I am at a stage where it's not so much that I want things smaller, but I want to feel as if I'm a little bit more in control. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I like things to stay at a certain standard. And I can't have more and have it all be the way that I want it to be. And I also moved to the cottage because I wanted to live a bigger life, and I'm starting to do that. And I hear some just fun things that have just kind of raised their head that may or may not come to fruition. I met two friends who just were visitors at the cottage. They came from New York City, and they were here and came by the garden, and I got to be friends with them, two young gals in their 30s. And one of them is a children's book writer, and she was asking if I would consult with her on writing a children's book. I think that would be a real kick. Something else, this is really an obtuse kind of thing, but it was so exciting for me when I was out walking. I recognized someone in my neighborhood who was completely out of context, and I was kind of fangirling. And it was someone who was a very famous CNN, NBC news correspondent. and a fascinating man who just, I mean, one of these people that you see on the news all the time, and I felt like I knew him well. Lo and behold, he lives around the corner from me. So I may be doing something visiting with him. I want to do more entertaining and showing you guys how I entertain, even though it's very simple. So that's that. Linda, I'm coming to the Fall Garden Tour in October in Oklahoma City. Are you on the tour? Secondly, I need to know the formula for your fence paint. Okay, we will put that up again. Stuart, can you make a note that I need to have that as a place on my website where anybody can go and just see the picture to the formula? I do know some of you have asked what the paint color is in my laundry room, and that paint color is Rainfall. I believe it's Sherwin-Williams. But you know what? I will try to put decor assets in my website. And by the way, we made some changes to the website. We're still making a few more. So if you haven't been to lindavater.com lately, you might want to go there. How is the pumpkin doing? Kim, the pumpkin finally succumbed to squash bugs. And I didn't want to do a lot of even organic chemical control because I didn't want to mess with anything that was around it. So I finally just pulled it out. The other thing was there were other things in that area that I knew needed room to grow. And the pumpkin was being a little bit thuggish. But it was just like a visitor that I had for the summer, a summer guest. And I so loved it. And I so loved its progress. I loved showing it to the children. We would check on it. And I just absolutely, it was such a kick to me. And if another one germinates and goes to seed, definitely would I let it grow again next year? Absolutely. And I'll just enjoy it for as long as it lasts. That's something that I am learning as I get older, is enjoy something for as long as it lasts, but when it's time to say goodbye, it's time to say goodbye. Am I going to share the organizing you did in your closets? Actually, I think I am, or at least my clothes closet, because as on my second channel, and it'll probably be on my second channel, I am going to show, as I style a lot more outfits, I style a lot more clothing, that kind of thing. I'm going to show you how I organized my closet. The other thing that I have discovered, because I've been doing a lot more of my own cleaning and organizing, I've discovered some great products that I want to share with you guys. So I'll probably be doing some kind of Amazon, YouTube, or YouTube product thing pretty soon, because I've found a couple of things that have literally been life transforming, absolutely life transforming. Have I started stocking up on candy for the trick-or-treaters? Not yet, but as you recall, last year we had like 3,000, so I probably need to. There was a guy I was at, by the way, let me tell you this before I forget. Alert, alert, alert. Put this on your calendar. On September 21st, I am going to be at Bricks at 40th and Classen, one of my favorite nurseries. They will get their pumpkins this Wednesday. So I am going to be doing pumpkin projects and styling with, guess what, you guys? I'm going to kind of have my own tag sale. AKA, I am going to get rid of some of all of those things that I've thrifted, that I have stored in my basement and in my garage, that I'm thanking it for its service, and now I'm moving it on to you guys. And I'm going to have that stuff there, and I'm going to be styling with it. And then you guys can buy the stuff that I am styling. And I'm talking to somebody, it might even be a fundraiser for a local organization here that I really like a lot, but it's going to be on September 21st. And I'm not sure what time, if we're going to do it in the morning, afternoon, but I will definitely be posting a lot about it. But if you want a reason to come to Oklahoma City during an absolutely fabulous time of year, then do it. And you can simultaneously get your pumpkins at Bricks. You can drive around my neighborhood, because I bet people are already starting to put out their Halloween decor, and it would just be a wonderful, wonderful time to visit Oklahoma City. Let's see what else. do you know Robbie from Visit Our Garden? I do not. Please, maybe we need to get to know each other. Do you know if Jerry Landers here on YouTube? She is a gardener and children's author. She is in Tennessee, where I live. Carrie, first of all, where do you live in Tennessee? My elementary school years were all spent in Knoxville, which I just love. And actually, I just met somebody when I was at Bricks who just moved here from Nashville. And he just a fascinating guy, but he was talking about just how Nashville has grown so much and how he never expected Oklahoma City to be quite so cool. And so that thrills me no end. Let's see. Johnson City. So Carrie, you were born in Knoxville. Well, I lived in Suburban Hills off of Kingston Pike. If you know where that area is, I don't even know if it's still there. But my dad worked for Eli Lilly. I had 3 siblings who went to the University of Tennessee. It is still one of my favorite states in the world. I used to go to the Smoky Mountains all of the time. In fact, one time when I was in 4th grade, I think it was 4th grade, I got lost in the Smoky Mountains. I need to tell you guys that story sometime. I got lost in the Smoky Mountains and they had to have all sorts of rangers out to find me. Let's see. Are you planning to be on the Oklahoma City Christmas home tour this year, or any ideas for your Christmas theme and colors? No, it's not too early to talk about Christmas. I am already thinking about it. Well, here is, okay, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. So my colors for September this year are kind of a bone white and natural wood. So those are the things that I'm going to be playing with. And I want to show you some things that I've gotten recently, inexpensive things, but for a great gift idea that you can style along those lines. I'm thinking I loved the blue shtick that I had going on in here so much that it will probably be that again, but in other areas of my house, I think it will be completely different, though I will not change it completely. I'm hoping this year maybe to do a few more things in outside and outdoor living rooms, since I feel like now it's kind of finished. The big yellow butterfly, if it has black stripes and tails on the wings, it could be a giant swallowtail, sometimes called a giant tiger swallowtail. I did not see, Cheryl, any stripes. It almost looked pale yellow, like the small pale yellow ones, but this one was big. And sadly, it flitted off before I could get a really good gander at it, but I'll be on the lookout again. Will you be bringing back your color of the month and monthly lists? Yes. And that was one of the things. What I'm trying to decide is how much can I navigate it? How much can I do, and how can I do it intently and in a more organized way. So I'm thinking through a lot of that, but yes, I am. And we'll do that same thing. In fact, if you're not signed up for my newsletter, please do so. Just go to my website. You can sign up on my newsletter from there. We also shared the colors of the month there. It's where I share some of my favorite products and things. And then it's where I also share just little stories. And I have one fun little story, but this one's too good to be shared in writing. I may have to share this out loud. Stuart knows what I'm talking about. And let's just call it The Praying Mantis, the Tiny Mouse, and the Dustbuster. And that to me almost sounds like a children's story. How come you don't do a garden walkthrough at your old house? Part of it is I do drive by periodically. Part of it is because, and I've mentioned this before, so for some of you that don't already know, because we've got so many new followers on YouTube now. No, Sydney and I are still friends. But one thing about that is we used to live down the street from each other, so we saw each other all the time. Now we don't, and so we don't see each other all the time. The other thing is she has done just remarkable things to the house, and she's got fabulous taste, and I love what she does, but it's still a little raw. I'm only a year and a half out from that. And in fact, I was talking to my kids the other day about this, kind of explaining it to them. And they said, Mom, I think you need to not do that for a while, because it's really different, and you can love something, but anyhow, I raised my kids there. I raised my boys. I got 35 years of memories there. So I just have to protect my heart a little bit. Has nothing to do with Sydney. I'm sure sometime we probably will, but I'm just not at that place yet. In fact, sometimes it's even hard for me to drive through my old neighborhood a little bit. Linda, what staples or anchors would you recommend for a shade garden on a budget? First of all, I would say now is a great time to shop any kind of clearance racks at your garden centers. Lowe's is always good about that. Sometimes Home Depot. And just, sometimes plants will be tired and they don't look great on top, but if they've still got a good root structure, then it would be great to plant them out this fall, because fall planting in my book is the best if you live in the South. The other thing that I would do is just ask your other gardening friends if they have anything that they want to divide. So things like hosta, Solomon seal is another great one. If some people, I don't have this problem, but for some people, coral bells can be a little bit too aggressive. So I like all of those for shade. Some ground covers, if they have a juga that they want to share, which can do well in the shade. And then in terms of shade perennials, I now go more after, I think, some shrubs that can do well kind of in the shade. And it depends on what kind of shade you have. So I don't know if that answers your questions or not, but just go look at your garden center. Obviously, there's fern, there's different things like that, and it might just depend on the area. Do I have any new products in the works? Oh, I wish I could show it to you. I don't have new products in the work with QVC because I'm really not working with them too much anymore. COVID and suppliers and all that just really presented a great hardship. I do have some new fun things that we have designed that we're going to be putting up, I think, on either Shopify or Spring, and one of them being just, Leah came up with it, just a fabulous design for a dark harvest green sweatshirt with a dark Linda Vater logo on it that I just love. I just got it in the mail the other day. I will be wearing it. It's got almost kind of a Harvard vibe to it. In fact, Stuart loved it, and he said he even wanted one. Will I bring back floral displays and coffee corner? Absolutely, I will. In fact, my deep dive discussions that I've been having with people are kind of like a coffee corner. Will I be doing any classes or lectures in Portland or Oregon? The gardens are here. I love Portland. And in fact, I used to work with a school in Portland, George Fox College. I was a consultant with them, and I would travel there and I would stay in Portland, and I absolutely love your city. And if there is a garden club there, if there's anything like that, and they want to extend an invitation to me to come and speak to their garden club, I would be happy to do that, because Portland is, first of all, it's just hip as can be. And let me know, is the Heathman Hotel still there? We used to stay at the Heathman, and I loved it. It was just wonderful. Let's see. Greetings from Croatia. Wow. Let's see. I'm on it. Who else is asking me? What other questions? Will Leah and Stuart be back when you return? Stuart definitely will. Leah will be here for a while, but that's kind of one of the things I think that might be changing. Leah is a woman of many, many talents, and she's going to be pursuing a number of different things, and it all kind of depends on how much time she has. And I think I may have mentioned in the past that Leah has been going on auditions and things, and she has some acting chops. And so we'll just kind of see. We may be adding different members to the team. That's one thing I know is that with young talent, they come, we have fun, we all grow together, but young talent tends to move on to do different kinds of things. So we'll see, but definitely Stuart will be back. Hi, Kathy from New Jersey. Okay, when will the other channel you are starting begin? It will be, we are hoping October 1st. And it will probably be, I'm not sure, it'll probably be related to style. At this point, I am not sure exactly what our posting schedule will be. I will let you know once we get the channel up and going. Probably some of the stuff that we're on Signature Style Saturday will probably migrate over to the style channel, the Substance and Style channel. Somebody says, I love my butterfly candy. What is your next new amazing find? Hub says hi, and you're actually live. Oh my gosh, the butterfly candy this year, especially Little Lavender, and I'm going to be posting a bunch of pictures on Instagram. I cannot tell you how much I love it. And now I'm really loving Little Raspberry, but it hasn't gotten quite as established. And everything that I planted on Autumn's Edge, I'm going to be showcasing that a lot. The Fire Chief Arborvitae, the Orange Rocket Barberry. Okay, one thing I'm going to do, this is a topic I'm going to do, some of the best performing and underused shrubs out there. And in that category, I would put abelias. In fact, I need to write that down so I don't forget that that's a title, that a video I want to do, because the abelias right now, the Kaleidoscope Abelia, the Canyon Creek, the Miss Lemon Abelia, the flowers they are putting on, the foliage, the pollinators, well, they are a must-have plant. And also for your cut flower base. I cannot wait for you to get those. I would say some other plants in that Autumn's Edge, I planted, I believe it's called Dazzleberry Sedum, and it is blooming right now. And the way it looks with the red on the Obsession Andina and with the others, well, it is breathtaking. It is absolutely breathtaking. So I'm going to start doing a thing of pair this with that. And one of the pair this with that things that I'm going to be doing pretty soon is pair certain kinds of shrubs with certain kind of spring bulbs. And I think that's going to be fun. And I'm going to explain from a design perspective, but also from a practicality perspective of why I'm fusing those two. What type of feedback do you get from your neighbors since your yard stands out from the rest? I would say I get absolute, unqualified joy, appreciation. I have made so many new friends because of it. I've often talked about how a garden brings a community together. I went out the other day, and it was probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't even been out yet. And, I keep a doggy bowl with water in it down at the bottom of the steps. And there were 3 dogs and 6 couples out there. And the doggies were all drinking out of the water bowl, and I came in and I got them some doggy treats, and we just stood there and talked for a while and had coffee. And what it's become is a community corner. And for a while I was kind of nervous, because my garden is so different, is it really going to stand out from the rest because I'm kind of crazy? But no, and I'll tell you why. Number one, it's so completely is resonant with the cottage. A cottage garden with a cottage style home is wonderful. Probably the most frequent comment is, This little cottage was just waiting for someone like you. It was just waiting for someone like you to do something like this with it. It was always so cute, but it needed some love. And I have lavished lots of love on it. And so I would say that's the most frequent comment. But the other reason I don't worry about it standing out is because it's on a corner. So it almost has, it's almost treated like a park. Because it's in such a prominent location. And so everybody comes by. Everybody walks by, jogs by, little kids, older people. It's become a community, a place of community. Did I decide to get outdoor awnings installed? I'm considering the same for my home with west facing window. Yes, I did. And I don't know that they're going to be here by next time you guys, I do a walkabout. But yes, I did. And I've decided to put one on the back door and put one on the side door, the door to nowhere, simply because it just looks like it needs it. For right now, I'm not going to put one over going down into the garage itself, because I really want these to last a long time. So I'm having a company do it, and it's not too inexpensive. So I'm really going for quality. And but yes, and I'm just going to wait for the reveal on what style I decided to go with. And I put in the community tab which of the fabric colors were my options, and I'll wait for that reveal too, because I got to keep a little bit of stuff from you so you'll be surprised and you'll want to tune in. I'm so interested in pairing shrubs with perennials. I'm the same age as you, and I've been adding shrubs to the garden for the past 10 years in anticipation of less heavy labor as I age. Diana, you're so right. And when I started to do it, it wasn't even so much from a perspective of less labor because I'm going to age, but I wanted less labor and I wanted more consistent year-round beauty. And that's what I have gotten. And so, because perennials come and go, and some of my shrubs, yes, they need to be deadheaded, but they give me so much more four-season interest. And they give me a different kind of cut flower material that I wouldn't have without them. So definitely I encourage that. And now I use perennials almost like annuals. And at this house, interestingly, I'm using more annuals than I did at the other house because I have more sun. And I'm doing a whole thing on a parade of pink, because the pink pentas, the pink star magnolias that are still sporadically blooming, the lantana, the pink little raspberry buddleia. There is so much pink going on, and all of it. Oh, the encore azaleas. Okay, somebody asked me another great thing. Those carnation encore azaleas may be one of the toughest, best blooming plants ever. And, you know, they say that they bloom in spring and fall. For me, it's more like a September bloom, a late August, September bloom, which is fine with me, because once it gets to be cool enough, I've got all the pumpkins going and all that. But late August and in September, I don't have a lot going on. And so I love that the encore azaleas are blooming at that time, because that's when the perennials are coming out and blooming again, and the annuals are getting their second life. And let's just say it's a beautiful extravaganza in front of the cottage right now. When the ground gets too compacted and unable to dig, is it useful to just add soil on top around shrubs and plants and hope that worms are able to incorporate it? If you've got if you're talking about, are you talking about established shrubs? So if you've got established shrubs and you're wanting to add perennials, or you've got any kind of established perennials, what I do is I just try to dig in compacted soil the diggest hole possible that I can. That way I'm not disturbing the surrounding shrubs or the surrounding perennials, but for that dedicated perennial or that dedicated shrub, I am digging as big a hole as possible. If the soil is heavy clay, then what I do is I really, really rough up that hole and add lots of compost and amendment to it, mix it all together. I don't want it to kind of grow up against a wall of clay then. So I really rough up the sides of the hole, but I don't add back a lot of the existing clay that was in the hole. I discard it and I put in really good dirt and then mulch real heavily with organic matter that will break down. Japanese knotweed is taking over my garden. What can I do to stop it? Well, it depends on a lot of things. If it's involved in growing in areas that other things are, then it's kind of a sticky wicket. If anybody out there has any recommendations, please let me know. You can try to kill it, by putting just black plastic and letting solar kill it. You might try horticultural vinegar. Have I ever had Annabelle hydrangeas start to rebloom in late summer? Yes. If you deadhead them, if yours bloom early and you deadhead them, then yes. And right now, I have some white wedding hydrangeas that are reblooming, and the white wedding and the moon dance hydrangeas for me were absolutely spectacular, more so than my Annabelles. And they tend to be denser and make a better dried flower. But I think it might be the exposure I have for my Annabelles in the back. But the white weddings and the moon dance have been absolutely incredible. And I'm adding more Dear Dolores. Those are all Southern Living plants. I'm in Virginia and my boxwoods are not looking good browning. When I look inside, it looks dried up dead. Okay. I am going to do a video on nothing but boxwood. And it's going to showcase top Buxus products. And the top Buxus products, they're available online and they're available from Amazon. One is like a restore and protect. I just did that on my boxwoods. It's a spray and you spray it on them. The other is a feed, and it helps to protect against boxwood blight and just anything in particular that might be stressing your boxwood. If it looks dried up and dead, then check for a couple of things. And rather than go into it, just Google. You can even take a picture of what's wrong with my plant. But here are some things to look at. Number one, it might have gotten insufficient or irregular watering. So look at that. In other words, the front side maybe got adequate watering, but the back side didn't, and it was in too much sun. Number two, it may have been overwatered. So dig down in there and see if it's drowned. I have done that with a couple of mine and had to remove them and check the irrigation. Number three, check to see if you have spider mite. That typically just makes them look uglier, but it doesn't necessarily kill them. But just check and see. And then try really watering them, giving them some TLC with some top Buxus products. And I will put the links to all of that when I do the boxwood video, and it will be coming up soon. And it's the best stuff for boxwood out there. And so that's what I would recommend, but stay tuned for that. And then if you cut back everything that's brown, if there's some green and some brown, cut back the brown, make sure to sterilize all of your secateurs, your pruners, absolutely everything. And if it looks like it's diseased, just dig it up, discard the plant, and maybe plant something else in its place. Do you mind if people show up and admire your front landscape? Oh, absolutely not. And if I minded, I probably couldn't live here, because there's pretty much a constant stream of people that, well, for one thing, it's an urban neighborhood, and I have people that walk by, bike by, they're on their scooters, they're on their skateboards. I mean, it's a parade. This is a neighborhood that's a constant parade, especially when the weather is nice. So there's people always in front admiring the garden. And then there's lots of people who come from out of town. And the nice thing is it's a public sidewalk. So they don't have to feel like a stalker, because usually if I'm here, I'll try to show them around a bit and visit. But if I'm not here, it's a public sidewalk and they can pretty much see. They can go down both sides and they can pretty much get a really good gander at the garden, even without coming up to the upper terrace. How can I get my jasmine? They look like boxwoods to flower. They are approximately 5 feet high. Since I don't know what kind of jasmine it is, that's a topic I would ask Google, or I would ask ChatGPT and find out what kind of jasmine it is, because sometimes they bloom at different periods of time. Do the former owners of your new home ever come by? I don't know. I don't know if they former owners, oh, of this home. No, because this home, it was a home that was renovated, and they bought it from an older woman who was, I think, like in her 90s. And then some people came in, they renovated it and they turned it. So no, I don't get previous owners. I know some about some previous owners from way back when, from things that I have found up in the attic and such, but no. Would I mind sharing my favorite makeup foundation? This is one of the topics I'm going to discuss. And there right now, I have 3 that I'm kind of using in rotation. One isn't even a foundation. It's a tinted sunscreen. And now I can't, the brand of it escapes me. Hold on just a second. I need to check on something here. So one of them is a tinted sunscreen, and I will share what it is with you, because that's one of the, on the second channel, that's one of the things I'm going to be discussing a lot. I'm no expert. Believe me, I'm no expert. I don't advance myself as an expert. I only share what has worked for me. And by the way, I'm looking, and aren't these earrings cute? They are beaded butterflies. I got these in Santa Fe. I just had to share. And one of them is one that I use sporadically on and off. It is a mineral powder called Bellaterra, and I will be sharing it. Another one that I use is Jones Road. It's a little bit, but I don't use it. I kind of rotate between those depending on just how much heaviness I want. I don't like a lot of heavy foundation. I really like it to be very, almost translucent. So I don't use a lot of foundation. The other thing that I'm going to be sharing with you is I'm going to reveal what kind of skincare treatments I have. So I'm going to go to a esthetician who, they're all RNs, they're all medically certified. And I'm going to talk to you about what do I get, and answer those questions. Do I do Botox? Have I had a facelift? No. Do I do any kind of fillers? Do I do laser treatments? I'm going to share all of that with you and describe some of those different procedures. And also, interestingly, here's another little tease for the second channel. I'm going to be interviewing next week a urogynecologist who is going to talk about another way that we stay healthy as we age. And that's from a urogynecological standpoint, with some really, really good, helpful information. So what I'm going to try to do is just give you guys a bunch of resources so that we can all age substantively, healthily, and with style. And oh, she put some soil on an Annabelle hydrangea to make a new one, and she can move it. Will you do an autumn home decor video? Absolutely. And another thing that's going to be coming up, my friend John Turman is going to be visiting, and that's going to be very fun. And probably we'll also be doing I need to desperately reduce the size of mature burning bushes. Can I do that now, or do I need to wait until next early spring in Kansas? I would probably wait until early spring, but you know what? I would Google it and say, in my zone, whatever it is, Kansas garden, can I cut back my burning bushes hard now? So that's what I do. A lot of times, if I don't know, and then I consult. It'll come up with a number of different sites, and then I consult multiple sites, and I go with the one that is the most scientific or the most credible, I think. I think my favorite video of yours are the micro needling video and the morning routine video. Yeah, I'm going to be doing lots more of those, a lot more substance meets style. I think that would be fun. Would you consider asking Hubs to be on to share his favorite parts of y'all's new home? I could ask him, but he'll probably say no. He just really, not because he's a curmudgeon or anything. He just doesn't like being on camera. And my boys, they say they don't mind it too much, but then they get on camera and it's just like I am I don't know, tearing their fingernails off or something. Whereas the girls love it. So I'm not sure what that dynamic is all about. I do hope to have my daughters-in-law on more, and I'll be having a lot more guests, just a lot more interesting guests. Some some you've known before, some that are going to be new to you, but all of them with really interesting stories to tell. So the interviews are about substance at any age. How do we cope with change and transition? I think it's going to be very, very compelling. Anything else, Stuart? It looks like we've gone almost an hour here. In fact, Stuart, you want to join for a minute? I don't know if he's going to come on and join us or not. Whether you can. There he is. Hi, Stuart. Can people hear you, Stuart? You've got your mic off. You're muted. Look at his fancy setup, you guys. He is professional. Once he gets set up, he'll unmute himself. So we've got lots of shooting. I think we have really missed you guys. I mean, I think it goes without saying. We have really, really missed you guys. I can't wait to re-engage. We're going to spending, I think, a little bit more time in conversation and a little bit more time at other people's homes and visiting with different people, and a little bit more stuff on style. I have some new sponsors that I'm going to be collaborating with that I am thrilled about. I am just thrilled about. So, Stuart, are you going to say anything, or are you going to stay muted? He can't unmute himself at this point. Better? Well, sorry, Stuart. I'm always trying to get you to be quiet, but
I know.
Not really. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Stuart, is that a moog? Yeah. I don't know what a moog is. Can you nod? It's a moog. Yes, whatever that is, that's what it is. You guys, what changes can we expect? I'm not in the gardening channel. It's going to be, it's going to be, right? I'm not going to change, but it's going to be a little different, if that makes any sense. So I love you guys. I can't wait to see you again. I have missed you. Everything, all of our channels have missed you, but this may be something that I start doing on an annual basis, because I really found it was very restorative. And as I said, I lost some people in my life, and it was helpful to be there for the families and things. So anyhow, onward and upward. I can't wait to see you again. And until we meet on September 15th, we're going to, Stuart, we try to get that video up early, not later in the day, but earlier in the day, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And you guys just stay tuned. See you September 15th. See you on Instagram, in my newsletter, and on YouTube. Love you guys, and we'll be together again soon.